Hey everybody, Jillian here for Illustrated Faith's Print and Pray Shop, and I am so excited about today's video. So today's process video is going to look a lot different than those that I normally share here because I created a little mini book. So instead of doing a Bible journaling process video, I'm going to show you how I assembled this little summer mini book, and I used Brianna Showalter's brand new set, Use Your Map, that's available in the Illustrated Faith Print and Pray Shop. So I'm going to show you exactly what I used, how I assembled it, and then at the very end I'll give you a flip through of this guy. And I've got so much more work to do on this one. But for now, let me show you what I used. So what I have here is the latest Print and Pray release from Brianna Showalter. Her set is called Use Your Map, and then I've got the coordinating patterned papers that go with it. Most of them I've already cut down here, so you didn't have to watch me do that on camera, but I thought it would be so fun to create a little mini book. So I was totally inspired by all of the gorgeous patterned papers that are included with most of the sets. And I thought it would be really fun to, over the course of the month, create a little mini album or mini book using those pieces. But first I thought I'd start today with Brianna's set, Use Your Map, of course, our map being our Bible. And I just love that idea. So a place to document where I've been in my daily Bible reading for the month of July, and maybe even further, we'll see. It's a super fun summer themed release this month. So I'm just giving you a look at some of the cards here that I plan to use for my book. So these are the sheets. They come 4 to a page like this, and I just went ahead and cut them down. I printed these on white cardstock. I printed these sheets on clear sticker paper, and then I may end up backing it on white cardstock and using it on white cardstock anyway, but I thought these would be really cute. So those are the pieces from the Print and Pray Shop that I plan to use. Then really quickly, let me show you what I pulled, just some household items that I had laying around to go with the mini book. You can see some of them right here. These are paint cards from I think I got these from Walmart, and then I have a few more that I've been holding on to for such an occasion as this, where you have the multiple colors. So I just looked through what I had already from past projects, and these match pretty closely. Not perfect, but pretty closely. I also have these manila tags and a pink one that kind of matches the pink in the set. So these would be really fun to include in my mini book. I'm looking for things that are different shapes, different sizes, things like that. I also hold on to stationery. So I raided my stationery area to pull out these envelopes that I had. I've also got an old school map. So I bought this about a month and a half ago at in an antique store. And what I love about this, you can actually see here that someone highlighted their route. I think it would be super cute to include on this Use Your Map little mini book, right? Now let's talk about the construction of it. I plan to put it together on 2 album rings. This is just what I happen to have. So I'm going to use a couple of these 1-inch album rings to bind the album, and I may need to go up in size, maybe 1.5-inch rings by the time I'm done with this thing, but we'll start small. They're reusable, so that's good. I have a single hole punch here, which is handy for putting holes in all of these materials so that I can fit them into the book, right? I've got my favorite roller adhesive. This is the Illustrated Faith tape runner, and I'm also going to be using my Tim Holtz tiny attacher to staple things where I can so I don't have to use my entire roll of adhesive. And then in addition to the tiny attacher and the ring, I have this grid washi tape. It's just a fun neutral that I have, and I thought that this would be good to bind some things as well. Like if I wanted to do a fold out or a fold up, you'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm really excited to go ahead and show you how I'm going to put this guy together. So let's go ahead and get started. Another thing I wanted to mention too is because all of the artists use the same colors for their releases, they coordinate so well together. So this is a Peek at Elaine set, Small Wonders, and wouldn't it be so fun to use these adorable dragonflies as embellishments on different items that I'm going to be including in the mini album. So every single Better Together artist release that came out on the 3rd is going to match the little mini book. So as the month goes by, I can go ahead and pull things from other artist sets that are just going to go so well because they all have this same color palette and pretty much the same theme too. So excited to show you guys how that comes together throughout the rest of the month. Alright, so first off, we're going to start assembling the front and back covers of this mini book. I really wanted to use this big map patterned paper that Brianna included, and I'm going to cut one of my favorite little pieces out of it, including that red lighthouse that's over to the right. I measured the cards, like this red card is about 3.5 by 5 inches. So I want my cover to be a bit larger than that. Now I use a Fisker's paper trimmer, and the little arm that swings out is broken and I lost the screw. So that's why I'm using this 3.5 by 5 inch paper as a guide to where I want to go ahead and cut it. Now I'm looking here to see if I can use the same print as the back side of the album, and I've cut more than halfway into it, so I'm not going to be able to do that, but that's not a big deal because there are so many other beautiful patterned papers to choose from, like this one from Shauna Klingerman's set. I'm going to go ahead and use a pencil with the cover of the book to know where to cut the back side of the book. So easy peasy, we've got the front and back of the book. Then I'm going to work on a title for the book. So I really like these puffy wonky alphas from Blvd. I thought it might be nice to have the white on top, kind of have the white popping off. But in the moment, I didn't like the way that they looked. I thought I might want to ground it a little bit more, bring some black out, and I think the black is a higher contrast, so I'm glad I went that way. I really wanted the book to say Summer 2018, but this set does not include numbers, as you can see, so I thought maybe I'll use some black homespun alphas. But in the end, came back to these guys. So I decided to break up the word summer since it's 6 letters. I could stack 3 letters on top, 3 letters on the bottom, and then you can see I have the 2018 from the homespun number stickers over there off to the left. I don't end up using them, but I do want to, at some point, in some way, indicate that this is the year 2018 when I go back and look through this. So there we go. I have my title down on my little Summer Use Your Map mini book. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my hole punch. I just use a single hole punch here and kind of eyeball where I want the holes. This really lends itself to the handmade look of this album. Precision to me is not fun in crafting, so I am very seldom precise. And I just think it just really makes it look cute and handmade. And here I am realizing that the envelopes are bigger than the covers I just made, so no problem. You'll see how it comes together. Next up, I'm going to make a little accordion pull-out for the mini book here. So you can see that I have 6 cards selected. The 2 on the left, I'm going to keep the size that they are so I can punch holes in them. But these other 4, I'm going to go ahead and trim about a ½ inch off of. So I'm taking a 1/4 inch off of either side here, especially on cards that have patterns like those trees, where if I were to cut off a ½ inch from one side, it would be a little lopsided. And then if they don't line up perfectly, I'll just go ahead with my scissors and hand trim any excess. Okay, so I have the cards in the order that I want them to go when I pull them out in this little accordion style interactive element here. So then I'm going to take this grid washi tape and I'm going to show you how I assemble the pull out here. So I'm going to start with the top 3. These are the first 3 that you're going to see in the book. I'm going to take some washi tape, not the entire length of the cards, but pretty close. And I'm going to tape them together, but I'm going to leave a little gap in between them. It's maybe 1/8 of an inch or smaller. And I'm really getting my face up in there to see how close I can get them. And there you go. So you can see they have this little fold out action. I realized that the trees were upside down, so I just flipped it around and re-adhered it. No big deal. So here you go. This is what it's going to look like in the book. So cute. And then I'm just going to go ahead and take these other cards and I'm going to not use the washi tape to adhere them. I'm just going to glue them directly to the back of these guys. So I'm going to use my tape runner here because I don't want to have the look of staples on this particular section. I'm going to glue them together using my tape runner. So keeping those two larger pieces together. And I left those larger, like I said, so that I would have some extra room to punch holes in. And when I am taping the cards together, I'm making sure that the cards line up closest to the washi hinge. If there is any excess left over, it would be super simple to just trim it along the side and along the top here instead of having like a white gap or a white border next to the hinge. So there you go. That's what the next element in my mini book is going to be. And then I'm just showing you there, I have room to punch holes, and I'm going to go ahead and use the cover here as a guide. Now I'm not going to get into embellishing everything here. I'm just showing you how I created the base. You guys are super creative. I know if you choose to make a little mini book, you can embellish your mini book in countless creative ways. So now I want to create a little like loop tab to indicate that it pulls out so you can have something to hold on to when you want to open it up. And I'm going to use this really pretty like cloud patterned faux washi. I really love the contrast between like this red color and this aqua color. I have no idea how wide it is, but I'm folding it in half to kind of get an idea of how wide I want it to be. And I'm going to use my tiny attacher to attach it. I wish I would have used adhesive because I couldn't quite get to it from the bottom with the tiny attacher. So there you go. That's what it looks like. Next up, let's use this adorable mustard colored envelope. So really simple. I'm going to use the back cover as a template to go ahead and punch the holes in this guy. And as you can see, it is bigger than the book, but I really, really love this mustard color, and so I don't mind it peeking out around the edge of the mini book. And I like that everything is different size, different colors, even some different textures, so that'll be fun. Now I want to put something on the flap of the envelope. So I'm going to use this really pretty compass. I love this aqua color. It's going to really pop off of the mustard. So originally I had printed this on clear sticker paper and I want it to be on cardstock. I just peeled the sticker release paper back, put it on some white cardstock, and now I'm fussy cutting around it. So I'm going to use this with half of it adhered to the envelope flap. I'm going to use some foam adhesive here to give it a bit of dimension and have it pop off of the envelope. So what I like to do is after I've already popped those little dots out, I keep the scraps, and then I end up using the scraps as the dimensional adhesive. So nothing goes to waste. So here you go. Super simple, really easy to do that one. Okay, so here I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to use some elements printed on clear sticker paper, put them on white cardstock, and then print them out. So I really love like little things that dangle around in my mini albums or in my mini books, and that's what I'm going to do with these two guys. So one of them is a passage from Psalm 119, and the other one says, "My Bible is my roadmap." Now, instead of leaving these guys with just a solid white background, I'm going to back them with these patterned papers. So the first one is just going to go on the back of this cloud card. I'm going to cut it out and then do the same thing to this piece. That's the roadmap piece with Shauna Klingerman's wood grain patterned paper. Then I'm going to take this beautifully scripted Elizabeth George quote and put it on the inside cover of the book. And I'm looking here to see if there's like an element that I want to include with it, but I decide to go with the faux washi strips printed on clear sticker paper. So this is some super simple embellishing, and you can see I'm just peeling the release paper off and sticking it down. And then I'm going to use this adorable little tree washi strip up on the top right corner and then use these mountains along the bottom. Now there's some excess hanging off of the top and bottom edge, no big deal. I'm just going to flip it over and then trim that off with my scissors. So here's what the inside of the card looks like, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a hole in this little die cut piece, that's what I'll call it. I'm lining it up with the with the cover here, but I wish I hadn't done that. I couldn't see the piece and I punched it a little too close to the top, so that may end up ripping and I'll have to fix that when it does. And I'm just going to do the same thing here. I'm going to actually this time take the whole punch the hole where I want it, and then just hope that it lines up with all of the other pieces. Next I'm going to use the manila tag, and this may be one of my favorite elements. I really love this illustration of the girl in the hat looking at her map, and I'm thinking about, I know I can't fit the whole thing on the tag, but how can I fit most of it on the tag, or the important part on the tag? I thought maybe I could use this girl reading books. I love books, reading multiple books at a time, but I decided to go with this gal instead. So what I'm doing, since I know all of her is not going to fit, I'm just cutting around the edge where I know she'll fit, and I want to be sure to keep her hand that's holding the map included on the tag. Now this is a really, really large sticker, and once I realized that this could go terribly wrong, I put it back on the release paper and then pulled the paper back as I placed the sticker down on the tag. So as you can see, a lot of her is hanging off, no big deal. I'm just going to flip it over, trim off the excess, and here she is. How adorable is that? This is just one of my favorite parts of the whole book so far. Now I think it would be fun here to use these paint cards. These are from Walmart. They have some marketing stuff on the back. But while I'm thinking about how I'm going to use those, I want to use this piece of transparency paper. In my little mini albums, I love having like different textures. So there's the arm of my trimmer, and I really wanted to include something transparent here. So I printed Shauna Klingerman's tree patterned paper on a piece of transparency, and I'm trying to figure out what size the cover is and how I need to trim this down to make sure that it fits in the book. So super simple. You could just leave it like that. I want to put something on top of it. I thought maybe this chipboard map that I have from some older scrapbooking supplies. Instead, I decided to pull out Elaine Davis's set Small Wonders. I just love this red magnifying glass. The colors pop perfectly with the green trees. And then while I was cutting it out, I saw, ooh, that green label would be nice too. I love me a label. So I'm going to go ahead and layer the label behind the magnifying glass on this transparency. All right, so let's see how that looks. The tag is a bit long, so I'm going to trim off about 1/4 of it and then adhere it behind the magnifying glass with my tape runner. And then once they are layered the way I like them, I'm going to go back to that foam adhesive and use this to pop up the magnifying glass on the transparency. You will be able to see this through the back, like once you turn the page over, you'll be able to see all this, but that doesn't bother me. So I'm just going to go ahead and peel that paper back, stick it down, and I just love how it looks. Aren't these colors just so gorgeous together? I'm going to go ahead and use my hole punch to punch some holes in it, and then it will be part of the mini. Now this is one of the last things I'm going to show you guys how I did, and I'm going to use these paint swatches. These are from Home Depot, I think, and I know I want to use that green one. I'm just trying to figure out which gold color one I want to use. So I'm going to use my paper trimmer again to go ahead and cut these guys down to size. I really am just trying to cut off the rounded tops and bottoms of these. And I want to keep, I love the gradient on these cards, and I want to keep the darker color on the top. So here I'm just arbitrarily cutting strips off of them. I have no idea what size they are at this point. Just checking to make sure they'll fit in the album there. And then I want to create a little pocket. So I'm just making some cuts here kind of arbitrarily to see where I want to trim the pattern paper and then layer it on the paint card so that it forms a pocket. And you can put so many things in these pockets. Some little study notes that you might have. If you have sermon notes, you could fold them up and put them inside. Whatever you can fit in a pocket would be great in here, paper-wise. So what you can see here is I left the excess on the patterned paper, and I'm folding it over the edge of the paint card. So then I'm going to put some adhesive along the edges of the paint card, and then take this patterned paper and then press down the excess that I had folded over. I didn't have much excess on either side with this patterned paper, so I will have to go ahead and staple it along the edge. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the yellow here. I'm going to tape it along the top and the bottom, fold over the excess, and then I'm going to go ahead and tape or glue these two paint cards together because I don't want to see all the like marketing stuff on the back of these either. How cute is that? And then I'm going to go ahead and punch some holes in them. Okay, so do you guys want to see how this came together? I am so pleased with how it turned out. It was so fun to make. So I used the little Bella Blvd wonky alphas that you saw for my title. I ended up not using the 2018 on here. We'll see if I can fit it in someplace else. So I've got my little title for the book with some of the washi strips. I love these little pieces that dangle outside of the mini. So cute, and I love that it's backed with Shauna's patterned paper. Then we've got this really fun pullout. So I left it blank for now so that I could go back and add journaling. I might put some like white cardstock on it so that I could have a cleaner spot for journaling, maybe particularly on this like map print. And then on the back side, this is what it looks like. So again, plenty of room for journaling. What I'm learning in the Word as I use my map this summer. This transparency sheet is so fun from, again, Shauna Klingerman's patterned papers paired with Elaine's bits. So you can see just how well all of these things coordinate together. This pocket is so cute. I ended up having to use my tiny attacher to staple this side portion down. I didn't have quite enough excess to hang over, so I just love this little pocket and how it turned out, and you can just slip stuff in there. Same thing on the back side here. This may be one of my favorite things, this tag with the girl looking at the map. I think it would be so fun to put some twine at the top here and then include my journaling on the back, like where I was in the Word that day. But I just love this illustration that Brianna did. I used one of her cards here. I didn't show this on camera, but I just punched a couple of holes in this card that says, "You are blessed when you stay on course, walking steadily on the road revealed by God." That's Psalm 119:1 from the Message version. And then I'll probably put something on the back here, maybe journaling or maybe a piece of patterned paper or something like that. This spot is great for hidden journaling that you may want to include. So as you remember, I put some foam adhesive underneath this little die cut and can hide some journaling in there if I want. Here are a couple other paint cards that I put together. So I glued them. They're a little warped from water damage, but I glued them together and then used one of Tamara Arcelia's illustrations here, and then used a little compass stamp that I had and a piece of Blvd. And then I'll either journal directly on here or just add some other stuff. We'll see how it goes. I love, again, this guy, these like little pieces that hang out, and then I just love how it's backed with this patterned paper. This would be a great journaling spot too. And then this is the back cover of the book, and so I just took that South Dakota map, cut out my favorite part, and then adhered it onto this back cover. And that's it. That is a look at my little mini book now. I think I'm going to put a fun little bauble on this ring or something that matches the colors just to make it a little more fun and playful. But that's it for now. Be sure to stick around and see how this comes together the rest of the summer. I'm so excited to see just how big and chunky it'll get. I'm hoping that I'll grow out of these 1-inch rings very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment below. I've got all of the print and pray items and most of the things I used linked in the video description below. Like I said, a lot of the things were just found in my home. And I would encourage you guys to go ahead and do the same. See what you have lying around that coordinates with the colors for this print and pray release. That's going to do it for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you soon.